What's our latest? We have a child component, right? Child component. And in child component, let me open my controller, and I also open my helper controller. So whatever you write inside a helper method, that can be reusable. It can be invoked either by child helper method, or it can also invoked by controller method. But if you have another controller method here, this action will not able to call another action from the same controller class. Okay, these methods are not reusable. Yeah, update name fields. This is my function name. Okay, now imagine if I want to update this, then I need to have input variables, isn't it? So for that, what I'll do, I'll just say aura attribute name equal to is update type equal to boolean, and now I'll say yesterday we discussed about like we have a condition called if true, aura if, right, is true, and I'll say is, oh, you need to use is update. And interesting is that you can also have a else condition, aura set attribute equal to else. You can also have a set attribute. Okay, now when this is oh, yes, exactly, if this is not true, then what should I do? If this is not true, I need to display my name. If this is true, then I'll do say lightning input type equal to text, label equal to first name, and value equal to, so you know value, isn't it? The first name. So with the data binding, we can do with a v dot this one. So I'm copy paste this line, and I'll update to last name, and I'll update to last name. But here one thing, you need to call this method, isn't it? You need to call this method, isn't it? So for that, what I'll do here, when I need to call this update, when I need to call this update, only when it is read only, isn't it? Lightning column button label equal to update on click equal to c dot your method name, right? The other thing we also need to do, we also need to save these values, right? Either you need to save or a cancel, isn't it? So we need another two methods. We need another two methods. One is for save, one is for cancel. Save, cancel, right? Three functions we needed. We'll implement the function, I mean, details later. First, at least, like if we can do this, then this I'll say variant equal to brand, and I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. Instead of update, now I need to say save name fields. Save name fields. This is brand. Let's say save. Cancel name fields. Cancel, and brand I'll say destructive. Spelling correct, right? Destructive. Yes. When I say update, I need to make this variable to be true, right? Component dot set v dot true. When I say cancel, what should I do? False, right? Now you don't want, okay, I'll tell you there is an error in this case. Okay. For now, we are good and I'm deploying it. And I'm deploying it. Cancel means let's say I entered my first name as Parag and I cancel and after clicking update I just updated Parag to Lakshmi and then I click cancel. Now what should the value it should display? Like a Parag only, right? It should not display Lakshmi, isn't it? But the existing logic, whatever we written, right, it will display Lakshmi only even after cancel. Yeah, because we are trying to update the field names like let's say Parag, Parag, pass by reference, update. I'll say Parag 1 and I'm cancel it. Now you got Parag 1, right? At least this is working, isn't it? So if I cancel, if I update now, it is going good, right? Now the question goes why that is happening, the reason behind. You are trying to update directly values, right? Even in the update, you are trying to update your values directly, isn't it? What you can do, hash mark. You understood this concept? Refresh. Parag test. Pass by value. We got Parag test. I'll say 1, 2, 3. Cancel, right? See, cancel. It's in the same value, isn't it? So you understood when we need to use these operators? Okay, there is, I mean, we always need to think, are we, see, there is no such technical that I can explain. Here, just like application that we need to use. We need to apply our concepts. Like, however you understand, you need to apply that concept. So the requirement is that if user wanted to update, he can update. And if he saves, it's okay. If he doesn't save, then the values need to be reverted, right? No, no, no. Actually, this pass by value is limited to this point, right? Here we are doing application event from here to here, right? You remember? Okay, this concept is different now. Pass by value and pass by reference will only implemented that way only within this component hierarchy. But in this component, we don't have anything. We are passing application event. Through application event, we are reading data, right? In the application event, you don't have like a pass by reference and pass by value. In the component event, you can do. Yeah, like this only. But why I'm saying about all this, like you need to think about the different possibilities. Like tomorrow, if you are using hash mark, you update it and you click it cancel, the values are getting updated. That's an error for you, right? If you are getting such cases, you know now what you need to do. Instead of exclamatory mark, you need to use assigning operator. Yeah, this operator is nothing but binding operator, okay? This operator is nothing but assigning operator. Okay. Now this is okay. Now what I need to do on click of save, I need to update my first name and last name here. I need to update my first name and last name, okay? But Now I need to pass my values from this place to parent component. From parent component, I need to call my application event. Okay, you understood this? Now this is a child component, right? And this is a parent component. If you want to pass data from child to parent, then you need to use which method? Component event. Child to parent from bottom to top. Component event will work only within the hierarchy. Only it will work within the hierarchy. It will not work outside of the hierarchy. It means that you can't access component event from this arc, from this component. Yeah. Now let me create a simple component event. Control Shift P, SFTX, create Aura event, and I'll say yesterday we discussed about, okay, 1 minute, cancel. Control P, parent component. I just want to name in the same naming convention the way we did it here. Lightning trick app event instead of CMP event I'll keep. Aura event instead of app I'll say CMP. Instead of application we need to write component. Then this is a component event. That's it. Component event example. Yesterday we discussed about the things like aura, attribute, name equal to JSON of JSON string. This is my payload. I'll just name it as a JSON payload. Okay. JSON payload type equal to string, or we can also JSON, we can say string only. It's okay. Now instead of defining first name and last name, I'm defining only one variable. Okay. Now whatever I want I can pass in my JSON payload, right? Now this is my component. Now what I'll do in child component, I'll do a handler. Again, we need to register. It's the same concept for like application. We need to register aura registered event name equal to child to parent. But in component event, the name should be same both handler and registered. If they have a different name, then this will not work. Okay. Type same C colon E dot your event name CMP, right? CMP. This is your registered event. In registered event, on click of save, we need to fire a event. Okay. On click of save, we need to fire an event. So this is my parent. I'll keep it here. On click of see event, you need to fire event. Now what I'll say? Fire component event. I'll say component comma event comma helper. How to fire a component event? So to fire a component event, you need to get your registered component name. You need to get your registered component name. So now I will say let CMP registered name equal to component dot nent component dot get your registered name. Okay, you need to use that name, whatever you used here, the name. This is for component hierarchy. Okay, and then component registered event dot, you need to update your data. So now let f name equal to component dot get. So now we are using here is a data by assigning operator. So you can't get a value by directly from first name. So what you need to use, you need to find a data from Aura IDs. Right? Whenever I update any value, this will not update my first name, right? That's the logic here, isn't it? So now you need to use your Aura IDs. Through Aura IDs, you need to get your data instead of attributes, last name. So now what I'll do, component dot find, component dot find your Aura ID of that particular field dot get of v dot value. So what is v? V is nothing but a attribute. So here value is a attribute, right? In this case. So only you are using. If you want to refer any attribute, then you need to use v. V dot value. Same thing. Then you will get that field value here. Okay. Now instead of first name, I'll say last name, and I'll say still last name. Is this the same ID that I'm using? Last name. Yes. Good. So what I'll do, and then I'll pass my JSON object. Let payload data equal to, how to pass JSON? It's a simple, right? You need to define array, and you'll say component name colon. What is your child component name? Child component, comma, action. All this is my custom data, whatever I wanted to pass. In real time, what we do, we pass different type of information because you will be having a multiple event, component events, right? So to understand, right, we'll say update names. I'm just passing whatever information I needed. I'll say first name colon f name. Another last name colon l name. This is my JSON data, right? Now here we define the variable in the event as a string, right? This is not an object, this is a string. So how can you convert your data into payload data into string? Let payload data string equal to payload dot to string. Otherwise we can say JSON dot stringify. This is a method which will convert your data into string. Now you got your data. Now what you need to do? Now this is your registered event, right? Control X, I'll keep here. Fire the component event. How to fire a component event? Get your component name, and then you will say component event dot set params. Component event dot set params. As I said, this is a method, semicolon, and your object. Here, what is the payload event name here? I mean attribute name, JSON payload colon JSON payload data string. Any question? Yep. So and then I'll say fire. Same method. As soon as you say fire, it fires an event. As soon as you fires an event, it fires an event. Okay. Clear? Now I need to call this method, isn't it? Say sorry, control Z helper dot component event helper. Component event helper. And so now I got updated here. Now I need to go to parent component and need to handle my changes, isn't it? I need to handle the data, right? So in component event, in parent component, what we need to do? We need to handle it. Aura colon handler name equal to. This name should match with your registered name. This name should match with your register name, okay? The name should match always. Even equal to C colon your event name. What is the event name here? This one, right? Event name, and then you'll say action equal to, what's the action here? C colon handle CMP event. This is my handling. Save. Okay. Whenever you write a new method, you should follow with a comma. It should have a comma. Okay. Function component event helper. So how to handle your events then? Let payload string equal to same concept event dot get params. Event dot get param. What is your parameter name here? JSON payload, right? Now what I'll say? Let payload object equal to, how to convert your JSON string to JSON object? Serialize. Yes. JSON dot parse. JSON dot parse will convert your string to object. In object, I'll say if. This is how we do test. We don't write directly in anything. Payload object dot, because there could be too many things with the same naming conventions, right? You have to handle different component events, and we'll use only single component event, and we'll pass a parameters with extra keys to identify. Now I'll say component name equal to child component. So in this case we don't want to do it, but I'm giving you like a live example. This is how we do. Okay. And then let's imagine that your child component is firing more than one component event, but each component event will have a different type of data. Based on this information, you can able to get only those values whatever you needed instead of firing every time for all changes. Action, and now I'll say update names. Now, and then I'll get my data. Let, instead of getting data, I can get directly. Okay, let f name equal to payload object dot first name, right? The same thing, let L name equal to payload object dot last name, right? And then what I'll do, component dot set first name v dot first name comma f name, copy paste. Instead of first I'll say last, instead of f name I'll say L name, alert data updated with f name plus single quote plus last name. This way you can able to identify, right? Deploy it, and I'll also deploy it, and I'll also deploy it. Think all this will go bad. Salesforce CLI. Okay, everything will get failed. The reason behind, first I need to deploy my event. Deploy event first, and then deploy child component, and then I'll deploy my parent component. Any question you have here, Parag? Like I know that we are updating like a two different places. So are you following the sequence? Yep. Horror dog. What is saying? Invalid description. See lightning colon. What it is saying? Wait. I did a wrong here. Wait. Where is registered here? So there will be no e dot here. There will be no e dot. It's only C colon and even now on click of save, we should get an alert, right? Okay, now refresh it. I'll say Parag test pass my value update. I'll say test 123 save console save. Okay, 1 minute. This event is firing or not? Alert. I'll say where? Here. You don't need to keep. It's okay. Yeah. Let me debug it. Something is not causing. Something is causing an issue. Deploy it. So I didn't realize, Sunil, that you joined in that session. So now, okay. So now component name, action name, and I'm stringifying it. and I'm passing my data. And in the parent component, I'm handling like a name and LNT CMP event, right? And then in the controller, what I'm doing, I'm getting my payload data. Oh, might be this could be a problem. We'll see about it. What is causing? Deploy it. We can add a debugger and we can debug the code here itself. What is causing here? Issue. Fire component. I'm firing my component. I'm getting my payload as a stringify. So now I'm registering my component.child. Oh my god, it says get event. This should be get event, not get. This is my bad. It should you have to use get event, okay? So it is like get event or what is the event name? Your event name, whatever you registered in the handler. And anyway, we need to check it out. Let's see whether it is flowing our data right as we expected. So next, because I added my debugger, right? So on click of save, my debugger will start. Debugger will start. Okay. Parag test. And I'll say next update test 1 2 save. My debugger is started here. So I'm here and I'll go to next line. My wait. Okay, now it is flowing. We got alert, right? So there is other way that we can do here. Save. Okay. Save. We got here. Step over. Step over, and we got f name equal to para, and this is undefined. So you can do debug like this, right? You can see a data is updating, isn't it? Your JSON is, I mean, class you have written, everything is loaded here. But there is no difference between helper and controller. Now you can see the controller is named as a controller array, and helper is named as a helper array in the same like JSON structure. Okay. Now you can see actual code, and you can able to debug it. What is happening? Like when you don't understand like what went wrong. Step over, and this is my payload string. Everything is converted and it's going, and everything is good. Now I'm getting my alert also, right? This is my alert which is coming. But after getting that alert, this should disappear and it should display a read only, right? See, either that's a simple thing. I mean, that's a simple thing that you can do straight away, saying that you can make this attribute to be false. That is okay, right? You can make this attribute to be false here, right? But this component event and everything is a asynchronous, because what if something goes wrong in the component event? Even that time, what you will be doing, you will be disappearing this field, right? You will be closing these input fields, isn't it? But that's not a right thing. So on success of my parent, I need to close my save. Okay. How can I do this? So for that, what we'll do, we'll call this cancel method from the parent controller. We'll call this component from the parent. How can we define that? First, we need to have the way we had attributes and registered, we also have a concept called aura colon method. Name equal to save success. When I say save success, okay, this is my Aura method action equal to, so you know, right, you need to close in the sense all you need to call cancel name fields only. You need to set a false, isn't it? So you can say v dot cancel field. This is my child method name. Okay. Now I need to call this method name from the parent component on event success. This place. Okay. When this is success, then only I need to call. Okay. To call your child component, you need to define your child component ID aura colon ID equal to child say child CMP. I'm saying that child CMP aura ID child CMP aura ID. See, whatever name you can keep, but for your reading, like if later tomorrow you are coming and you are trying to read, that time these variables should not confuse you. So only I'm just ensuring that I'm tagging to a this right things. So here I'll do let child component equal to component dot find your child component ID. Okay, and then what you'll do, child component. Now child component will get all the properties of your child. So you need to call your save method from there. You need to call your save method from there. Save. Understood this? I have done nothing. I created one Aura ID and I'm finding that Aura ID in my JSON, JavaScript controller, and I'm calling based on that. I'm calling my child method name just bypass. If you want to pass a parameter, you can pass here, like you can put like some of the normal method invocation, and you can update your Aura method with a parameters Aura. I mean Aura colon pair that we can discuss little further. Now this is deployed. Refresh. Pass by value. I got it. I'm updating it. Sunil 123, and I'm saving it. Updated. This is refresh. Empty cache and hard reload. On cancel, this method is invoking, right? This method is invoking child save. Okay, is this deployed? Deployed. This is deployed. Save. Step over, step over, step over, step over. Inside that step, step over. I think the component is not loaded properly. What is happening here? Let's let it get deployed. Update. Save. Why my child method is not calling? Setup. Session settings. Session settings. Enable person. So I disable it. Exploit calling this method. Save success right. Was my value update save. Update cancel. Now this is working. Oh, sorry, yaar. I need to use C dot. I use V dot. Cha. Here it should be C dot, right? This is my action, and I'm referring to V dot. Got it? That's another headache with the Lightning component. Like, it don't throw any syntax errors. It just accept whatever you write, whether it is there or not there, no errors. We need to that what like it's very hard to write. So only I always prefer copy paste of Lightning components. I don't type, but because of class, I have to forcefully typing. So now this should work. This is simple concept. Now I was like, what happening? Update. Sunil 123 save update. Now we got it right. But now the problem here is this last name is not getting updated. This last name is not getting updated. So this component is different from this component, right? Which event we need to fire here? Application event. Because this is different and this is different, isn't it? If you want to update this data here, then you need to pass it to. No, parent to child, you don't want to do this one, right? In parent to child, you have attributes. You can pass data through attributes. Like one parent can have multiple childs, right? So only you can able to pass your parent information to child directly through attributes, no issues. But you can't do that same thing from child to parent. The reason behind if multiple childs, let's say one child is saying name equal to Parag, the other child is saying name equal to Deepak. Now parent component will get confused, right? Which one need to get assigned? So when it is a collection to one, then we need to have our events. If it is one to collection, then you don't need any events here. Parent to child, you can call it like you have aura methods here, right? Now we use like aura method, isn't it? Through aura methods also you can pass your parameters. Through attributes you can pass your parameters from parent to child. Or if you want to pass the data through event only, then you need to use only application event. Component event will only work from low level to high level within the hierarchy.